Thanks again for joining us on Real Talk with Alicia for Real. We're back again with yet another amazing entrepreneur. I'm here with Cherie Price, Insurance and Workforce Development Solutions.
Yes.
Wow, your company, first of all, is something that is needed in our community.
Absolutely.
I cannot tell you how you have helped so many individuals, not just personally with your insurance company, but also through your workforce development, which we need. And a lot of people don't realize, even with the employment rate being so low, there's still a lot of people who are out of work. And so workforce development is so important right now to get people to find jobs. Now, before we get started with Cherie Price, first I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I cannot tell you how happy I am to have you join me for one of my first shows, one of the first podcasts. Yeah. Cherie has a BA in business management. She's a Bama Jamma ladies. She has an MS in psychiatric rehabilitation counseling. And you're amazing at developing and sustaining strategic partnerships in the community with your work with Teamwork Inglewood. Which is just growing by leaps and bounds with the regentrification of Inglewood, but also with all of the different programs you've come in and consult. They needed you, the community needed you, and that's also how I met you originally. Can you tell us a little bit more about your company first? Some of the things that you know has made not just you successful, but the whole community successful by your workforce development programs. And what are some of the challenges you guys have been facing to get to this point, because you guys are really starting to hit a stride?
Yeah, awesome. Well, first and foremost, again, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely appreciate it. And I am a long-time Inglewood resident, first and foremost. So I guess I'll start with, my business is actually twofold, right? We do a lot of insurance brokering, but the workforce development portion is something that I'm really, really excited about. As you said, a lot of people are facing unemployment and they do need employment solutions. So what my company does is I work with nonprofit and corporations alike to help them build out workforce development programs to help people get to the point where they sustain skills where they can become gainfully employed.
Okay.
So we're working on a lot of different initiatives, skill development, job readiness, just basic job readiness skills. And then we're also working on a lot of entrepreneurship things as well. So we're just looking to hit people essentially where they are to help them gain the skills that they want to take them further in life, be it entrepreneurship, be it just finding a higher wage paying job, just helping people get to the level that they want to get to.
So when you talk about workforce, when you talk about economics in particular,
Absolutely.
People don't realize it comes from capacity building. Everything is capacity building. That's why I love talking to you, because we're kind of here, because I specialize in not just strategic management for the plans for companies, but then also talent acquisition, where workforce development slides in there. And as a consultant, we need more people like you. We need to hire more companies like you. When I look at the way in which historically training centers were set up, are you seeing that trend coming back, whether it be for the employer themselves or for organizations, where people are actually going out and they're actually performing job training or providing those programs so people can get those skills?
Yeah, what I've seen happen in the past is people just getting trained on job readiness.
Okay.
Right? Just, I need a job, how do I interview? Help me write my resume. But what we're finding is that skill is very important, but it's just not enough.
Okay.
Right? So what I see a lot of organizations doing, and some of the work that I do as a consultant, is help organizations build out programs that give people short-term licensing, short-term certifications in addition to the job readiness skills, so that they not only know how to master an interview, but they also can come in and say, hey, I'm licensed as a phlebotomist, or I'm certified as a CNA, right? So in addition to the job readiness, I also have something, to add to, you hiring me as an employee. So I see organizations just moving into a direction of giving people skills, something that they can really hold on to and say, hey, I can come in and do this job, and not only can I do it, but I'm certified and licensed to do so.
Right, and as an employee, so many companies, when they come up with their services, they always think about, is this going to be scalable? Meaning that am I going to be able to teach someone these particular skills, their SQAs, your skills, your knowledge, your abilities. You come in, part of the certification or part of your experience, whether it be hard, soft skills, or something like a software skill,
That's
even.
right.
Because a lot of people don't realize that technology plays a role in most jobs nowadays, whether you know Microsoft Suite or you have to have, you know, some other type of software. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing that your customers are having that you definitely can help them with, obviously, but some of the things that they may want to identify by having Kip, literally, Miss Price here, come on, business owners, I hope you're paying attention. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that, that would be great, of like, how do they get around those challenges?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I love that you just mentioned is skill, the SKA, right? And I think what some of my clients or customers who are identifying as the nonprofit organizations, some of the things, I think some people just lack some innovation, right?
Okay.
Like when we look at the job market, we've kind of just focusing on what worked probably 10, 15 years ago. But the job market is something that's forever changing, right?
Right.
The labor market is an entity that is always evolving. And so I oftentimes tell my clients, you want to start with industries that are growing. Right, and that's just as simple as looking up, you know, labor statistics, right? So you want to find industries that over the next 10, 15 years, they're going to grow.
Right.
And that's what you want to train people in. And those are, you know, that's technology, that's transportation, that's hospitality. You want to focus on things like that that are going to grow. Manufacturing is a big one, and definitely, like you said, technology. So just getting them to think about programming in their respects in terms of finding something that's going to be sustainable over the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Wonderful.
Right? Like not necessarily jumping into retail because we know, hey, it's easy to get a job in retail, which
Right.
it is, but is retail generally a sustainable position? Are you going to get 40 hours per week in this job? Probably not. So we have to develop our programming around something that is forever changing, but also something that is going to be growing in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
And I want to also bring up a point too, that in doing that, one of the mechanisms obviously is recruiting prior to the onboarding for most business owners.
Yes.
And part of that conversation that in having the employees, you're looking from an employee perspective, is that how is that particular entity or company recruiting its employees? Like you were talking about IT. I know particularly in the healthcare industry,
Yes.
there are so many different jobs that are open and people are going into, you know, some type of practitioner position. They're looking for additional training. They're going into the nursing field. Can you talk a little bit about how you go about getting over those issues with employees when they have to do recruiting and then onboarding and they have a specific project? I know you work on a lot of projects that have timelines.
With employers?
With
Right.
employers, so they're hiring you as a consultant to come in for the workforce development, but you know, in a situation, and I'll give you a case where, for example, whether it be construction and they're looking for a particular workforce and employees, or they're looking for, like you said, they're revving up for a new retail store. I know there's a lot of new programs that have opened up here within the Inglewood area.
Yes.
When they come to you and they say, okay, you know, we need to basically recruit this amount of people and then onboard them. Are you part of that process, or do you have any insight or suggestion on how, you know, not only just employees that are looking for those opportunities, but also employers that are looking to hire someone like yourself?
So when it comes to the employers that are looking for employees, because we do a lot of recruiting, which is a pretty big part of our consulting business. So we do a lot of recruiting. We do help with some onboarding, but once we get them in and get them hired, that's essentially the employer's role to do their own onboarding.
Okay.
Right. But what I've been finding though is a lot of employers are taking what I like to call like a social impact recruiting now.
Okay.
Right. They understand that they're coming into communities like Inglewood, and it just makes sense to hire Inglewood residents. And now they're being, I don't want to say forced to do so, but people are standing up and saying, hey, we can do these jobs. You're in our community, obviously, why not hire us?
Exactly.
And so a lot of employers are now being more open to that, which
Okay.
makes my job a little bit easier,
Okay.
right? And so I essentially just go into an aggressive marketing campaign to identify the employees, get them trained up to where the employer wants them to be. That could be doing an online application. A lot of times, so employers want you to do an online assessment. So making sure that they do those basic things first,
Okay.
then they go into actually being hired with the company.
I told you. This is real talk, real talk today with Cherie Price, once again from Insurance and Workforce Development Solutions with over 10 years of experience. Let's change gears here because you know I'm going to throw you one of my questions about life. As an entrepreneur, oh my God, you deal with so many different diverse types of entrepreneurs yourself with the programs here in Inglewood. How do you balance that? Because I see you everywhere. You're at this person's opening. You're over here helping people actually put their new office together. You run a pitch contest. She does it all, people. She does it all. Can you tell me, like, what are some of the challenges that you have in being able to not just run your own company, but also be so supportive of so many other companies?
Yeah. Well, first, I really believe in connecting, right? Connecting with people, building relationships, strategic alliances. That's very important to me. So any way that I can support, say you or anyone in their endeavor, I'm always open and willing to do so because I believe that, that shared connection is what's going to help us grow bigger, right? I would say, I guess, if I can identify a challenge, it would be just being in a position to understand that as a woman entrepreneur, you a lot of times, you have your business you have to run, but you also have your family that you got to take care of.
That seems to be a running.
Yeah, like you always, but I kind of master that by just saying, you know what, I start my day pretty early and I end my day pretty late.
Okay.
Right, and so I try to fit in as much as I can. But what I've started doing recently is I started doing something called this 5-second rule, right? Like, and trying to identify the most important task for me that I got to focus on today.
Okay.
That's kind of how I build my day out. Like, we've all heard of to-do lists and things like that, right? We've all heard of those. And so I kind of implement that, but I use it with this skill set that I just developed called a 5-second rule. Like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get focused. Like, what is it that I'm trying to focus on today?
Okay.
And that's it, right? Like, I build out the most important thing that I got to get done today and then focus on everything else later.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what I love about your philosophy, and I've seen you mentor quite a few females in business or women-owned businesses, is the understanding a lot of times we downplay our own gifts.
We do.
I don't know if it's a societal thing, that women are supposed to be in a certain place, supposed to have a certain role, but you have some fierce women. Mm-hmm. You have some fierce women that are coming out of your programs, and they're champions. And what I love about them is they're all about growth. They're all about making sure that there's jobs that are being created, and they're all about making sure that they are also mentors. Absolutely. And that's what I love about your programs, is that it's not just I'm going to come and I'm going to give you these gifts, but I want to build additional businesswomen that are also going to be great beasts in the business world, and who can mentor other young girls and other women who are coming into business. Where did you get that from?
I think it's just something that's natural across women. I think it's, I just think we're just natural givers, honestly.
Yeah.
And once we have had something kind of, the way paid for us, it's just natural for us to want to give back and just help other people reach their goals. So I just think it's something natural that just comes for women. I think so. Girl power.
What can I tell you? We're going to be joined next with a panel of all of our women that you've seen today, and we're going to be joined by a gentleman. So it should be very interesting. We're so happy for you to join us today on the show. So I'm sure the viewers will be bringing your phone off the hook. Can you tell them how to get in touch with you?
Sure. Yeah. Easy way. You can give me a call at 312-753-9042. Just reach out to me via text or phone, and I'll answer any questions that they have.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Very
much appreciate it.
No problem. Can't wait to have you back.
Yes.
Thank you again for joining us on Real Talk with Alicia For Real. We'll be right back with the panel. Thank you.